There are two types of people in this world. Those who want a loyal companion that follows orders, greets them at the door with explosive energy, and treats them like the center of the universe. And those who prefer a roommate who watches them silently from the top of the refrigerator, unimpressed, observant, and entirely uninterested in approval. Welcome to the complex, often misunderstood, and scientifically fascinating psychology of cat people. For decades, pop culture has reduced cat lovers to caricatures. The crazy cat lady, the quiet loner, the socially detached villain stroking a white Persian. But those images were never about cats. They were about discomfort with people who don't perform connection the way society expects them to, because science tells a very different story. Your preference for cats isn't random, it isn't a quirk, and it certainly isn't about being antisocial. It's a signal, a biological and psychological fingerprint that reveals how you process emotion, how you regulate stress, how you relate to autonomy, and how your nervous system seeks safety. Cat people aren't drawn to obedience. They're drawn to coexistence. They don't want constant feedback. They want presence without pressure. They don't need to be adored. They need to feel regulated. Today, we're not here to admire cute kittens. We're here to decode what your love for cats quietly reveals about you. We'll break down the personality traits that separate cat people from dog people. We'll explore the evolutionary trick that makes a predator feel like family. And yes, we'll confront the unsettling theory that suggests your attachment to cats may not be entirely your own. So the question isn't whether you love cats, the question is why. This is the psychology of cat people. Pop culture has never known what to do with people who don't perform their emotions loudly. So it turned cat people into a joke. The crazy cat lady, the cold intellectual, the quiet villain with a cat on their lap, observing the world from a distance. But these stereotypes didn't come from science, they came from discomfort. Modern culture is built around visibility. Being expressive, energetic, constantly available, and emotionally legible is treated as the baseline for being healthy or social. And anyone who doesn't fit that mold is quickly labelled as withdrawn, strange, or antisocial. Cat people challenge that narrative. They don't broadcast their inner world. They don't seek constant interaction to feel connected. And they don't confuse noise with intimacy. This makes them easy to misunderstand in a culture that equates presence with performance. But psychology tells us something important. The absence of constant expression is not emotional absence, it's regulation. Many cat people are deeply observant. They track subtle shifts in tone, body language, and emotional atmosphere. They may say less, but they notice more. And because they don't rely on overt cues to feel secure, they don't feel the need to prove connection through constant engagement. Pop culture framed this as detachment. In reality, it's selectivity. Cat people aren't avoiding connection. They're avoiding unnecessary stimulation. They choose environments and relationships that respect their internal rhythm. And when you stop measuring social health by volume, attention, or enthusiasm, the stereotype collapses. What looks like distance from the outside is often discernment on the inside. And that misunderstanding is where the myth of the cat person began. Psychologists often describe personality through 5 core traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, the big 5. When researchers compare people who identify as cat lovers with those who prefer dogs, clear and consistent patterns emerge. Cat people tend to score higher in openness to experience. On paper, that means creativity, curiosity, and a comfort with complexity. But lived from the inside, it looks like a mind that doesn't settle easily for simple explanations. Cat people are often drawn to ideas, art, emotions, and perspectives that don't fit neatly into social norms. They're more willing to sit with ambiguity, to explore internal worlds, and to question why things are done a certain way instead of accepting tradition by default. They also score lower in extroversion. This is where misunderstandings begin. Lower extroversion doesn't mean social incompetence or disinterest in others. It means energy flows inward before it flows out. Social interaction costs more. Noise, unpredictability, and constant engagement drain rather than energize. Cat people may enjoy people deeply, but in smaller doses, with more space in between. Research also shows slightly higher levels of neuroticism among cat people. In psychology, this doesn't mean instability, it means sensitivity, a heightened awareness of internal states and environmental cues. Cat people often notice stress earlier, feel emotional shifts more quickly, and react strongly to overstimulation. This isn't a flaw, it's an early warning system. From the outside, this inner life is mostly invisible. Cat people don't externalize their processing. They rarely announce when something overwhelms them. Instead, they quietly adjust, seeking calm, control, and predictability. A barking dog, an unstructured social environment, or constant demands for attention can feel intrusive to a nervous system that's already finely tuned. Cats fit this psychology perfectly. They don't impose themselves. They don't escalate energy. They move slowly, predictably, and with clear boundaries. For someone high in openness and sensitivity, that presence feels stabilizing. So when cat people say they just prefer cats, what they're really expressing is alignment between their temperament and their environment, between their inner world and the kind of companionship that allows it to function without overload. And that inner world, quiet, complex, and deeply perceptive, is the part most people never see. At a certain point, personality stops being the most useful explanation, because what separates cat people from dog people isn't just how they think or behave, it's how their nervous systems respond to the world. Many cat people have nervous systems that are highly responsive. They pick up on subtle changes in sound, movement, mood, and expectation. Their baseline isn't numbness, it's awareness. And in a world that's loud, fast, and constantly demanding engagement, that level of awareness can become exhausting. This is why framing the difference as a personality preference falls short. What's really happening is regulation. Some nervous systems feel calmer when there is frequent interaction, clear structure, and external feedback. They regulate through activity and engagement. Dogs are perfect for that. They initiate contact, mirror excitement, and keep energy moving. Other nervous systems regulate through stillness, through predictability, through the absence of pressure. These systems don't need constant stimulation to feel secure. They need environments that don't overwhelm them in the first place. Cats provide exactly that. A cat doesn't rush towards you to discharge energy. It settles into a space and lets you settle with it. There's no demand to respond, perform, or manage someone else's emotional state. You're allowed to arrive as you are. This kind of coexistence is especially soothing for people whose nervous systems spend much of the day anticipating, adapting, or self-monitoring. For them, calm isn't boredom, it's recovery. And this is where many misunderstandings come from. When someone says, "I don't like dogs, they're too much," they're not rejecting connection. They're describing overstimulation. When they say, "I like cats, they're peaceful," they're describing regulation. Cat people aren't choosing distance. They're choosing environments that allow their bodies to downshift, that reduce vigilance, that make it possible to rest without withdrawing entirely. Once you view this through the lens of the nervous system, the preference stops looking quirky or antisocial. It starts looking adaptive. There's a reason a cat, an efficient, solitary predator, can make you feel an almost irrational urge to protect it. Your brain isn't responding to logic, it's responding to an evolutionary shortcut. Ethologists call it the baby schema, a set of visual cues that evolution hardwired into humans to ensure we care for our young. large eyes relative to the face, a rounded head, a small nose, soft, non-threatening movements. When the brain detects these features, it releases caretaking impulses before conscious thought has a chance to intervene. Domestic cats happen to match this pattern remarkably well. When a cat looks up at you, your brain doesn't register hunter, it registers infant. The response is automatic: warmth, protection, attunement, a subtle pull toward responsibility that doesn't feel forced, but chosen. But this goes deeper than cuteness. For many cat people, this dynamic feels safe because it's one-directional without being emotionally demanding. Caring flows outward, but without the expectation of constant reciprocity. The cat doesn't ask you to be cheerful. It doesn't require reassurance. It doesn't monitor your mood. This is especially resonant for people who grew up having to self-regulate early, who learn to be composed, observant, and emotionally contained. Offering care can feel easier than receiving it. Nurturing something that doesn't intrude allows closeness without vulnerability overload. And cats are masters of this balance. They accept care without hindering your autonomy. So when you feel that instinctive pull toward a cat, it's not weakness or projection. It's an ancient biological response meeting a psychological need for safe connection. Your brain isn't being fooled. It's responding exactly as it was designed to, just in a context that feels unexpectedly right. Before thought, before interpretation, before emotion even has a name, there is regulation. One of the most powerful tools cats use to create it is sound. A cat's purr isn't just a pleasant background noise. It operates at low rhythmic frequencies that the human nervous system responds to instinctively. Long before you consciously register comfort, your body begins to slow. Your breathing deepens. Muscle tension softens. Stress hormones start to drop. This isn't imagination, it's physiology. Low-frequency, repetitive sounds signal safety to the brain. They tell the nervous system that nothing urgent is required. No action, no vigilance, no response, just presence. When a cat curls up near you and purrs, your body receives that message before your mind has time to analyze it. For people who spend much of their lives anticipating, adjusting, or managing emotional environments, this kind of regulation is rare. Silence can feel empty. Noise can feel overwhelming, but the steady hum of a purr sits in between. It fills the space without invading it. That's why many cat people describe a sense of grounding that's difficult to explain. They don't feel excited. They feel settled, as if their internal pace has finally matched the world around them. This is co-regulation without conversation, comfort without performance, and once your nervous system learns that a certain presence consistently brings it back into balance, attachment follows naturally. Not because you decided to bond, but because your body already has. Long before you realize it, the regulation has already done its work. For many cat people, the bond they feel with cats isn't just calming, it's safe in a way that human relationships often aren't. To understand why, you have to look at attachment and consent. Human relationships are filled with unspoken demands, expectations to respond quickly, to explain feelings, to reassure, to match emotional energy. Even affection can come with pressure. Why aren't you more expressive? Why don't you need me the way I need you? For people who are sensitive, observant, or easily overstimulated, this constant negotiation can feel exhausting. Cats don't operate that way. A cat never assumes access to you. Its affection is offered, not imposed. When it chooses to sit beside you or on your lap, it does so without expectation of conversation, eye contact, or emotional performance. And when it leaves, it doesn't require justification. This mutual respect for boundaries creates something rare: connection without intrusion. Psychologically, this aligns closely with how cat people experience attachment. Many are not avoidant of intimacy, but they are avoidant of pressure. They want closeness that unfolds naturally, without urgency or demand. Cats model exactly that. They teach through behavior that attachment doesn't require constant proof. Consent is central to this dynamic. With cats, affection must be earned and maintained through attunement. You learn to read subtle signals, a flick of the tail, a shift in posture, a change in breathing. You adjust accordingly. Over time, this builds a relationship rooted in respect rather than control. For people who have experienced boundary violations, emotional, psychological, or relational, this matters deeply. Cats feel safer because they don't cross lines by default. They don't test loyalty. They don't take emotional proximity for granted. When a cat chooses you, the connection feels genuine, not obligatory, not transactional. And that chosen affection carries a particular weight. It confirms something many cat people intuitively value: that love means more when it's voluntary, that closeness is deeper when it's allowed to breathe, and that safety isn't found in intensity, it's found in mutual consent. In a world where relationships often demand more than they offer, cats provide a quiet reminder. Connection doesn't have to cost your nervous system to be real. At this point, there's an uncomfortable question we can't ignore. What if your attachment to cats isn't entirely a choice? There's a microscopic parasite called Toxoplasma gondii. It can infect most warm-blooded animals, but it can only reproduce inside a cat. To survive, it has to get back there. And in animals like mice, it does this by altering the brain, erasing fear, increasing attraction to cat scent, quietly steering behavior toward its own survival. Humans can carry it too. A significant portion of the population does. For years, it was considered harmless in healthy adults, but emerging research suggests it may subtly influence human behavior, slowing reaction times, increasing risk tolerance, and altering emotional responses. The most controversial idea is that it could reduce aversion to cats or even increase affection toward them. The science is still debated. No serious researcher claims it can control complex human love or personality. But the question it raises is unsettling. How much of what we feel is purely psychological, and how much is nudged by biology? If a biological influence makes something feel comforting, does that comfort become less real? This theory unsettles us because it threatens the idea of agency, but it also reveals something honest. Humans are not purely rational beings. We are ecosystems shaped by chemistry, history, and instinct. So whether your bond with cats is driven by oxytocin, neural regulation, or a microscopic passenger, the experience remains the same. Your nervous system feels safe, and sometimes that's the only truth that matters. Cat people are often described as intelligent, analytical, or creative. And while research has found correlations between cat ownership and higher levels of education, the more important factor isn't intelligence itself. It's how their minds work when left undisturbed. Many forms of deep thinking require uninterrupted attention. Reflection, creativity, problem-solving, and emotional processing all depend on long stretches of mental quiet. For people wired this way, constant interruption doesn't just distract, it fractures thought. Cats don't interrupt. They coexist alongside focus without demanding it. They don't pull attention outward or require ongoing engagement. Their presence fills a space without fragmenting it, allowing thought to deepen rather than scatter. This is why so many writers, artists, and thinkers have gravitated toward cats. Not because cats make people smarter, but because they protect the conditions intelligence needs to function. Solitude, in this context, isn't isolation, it's cognitive freedom. Modern culture often treats solitude as something to fix. Quiet is framed as loneliness, stillness as avoidance. But for many cat people, quiet is where clarity forms. It's where emotions organize themselves. It's where ideas mature instead of evaporating under noise. Choosing a quieter life doesn't mean rejecting others. It means rejecting unnecessary interference. Cat people aren't withdrawing from the world, they're curating it. And cats, with their minimal demands and intuitive respect for space, fit seamlessly into that choice. They validate something society rarely does: the right to live at your own internal pace, to think slowly, to feel deeply, to exist without constant commentary. In that sense, loving cats isn't a marker of intelligence, it's a declaration of values, a commitment to depth over distraction. So maybe this was never really about cats. Maybe it was about the kind of nervous system you have, and the kind of world it feels safest in. If you're drawn to cats, it doesn't mean you're distant, cold, or disconnected. It means you're wired for subtlety, for presence without pressure, for connection that doesn't demand constant output. Your system settles in environments where nothing is forcing you to be louder, faster, or more available than you actually are. Cats don't ask you to perform. They don't test your loyalty. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They simply exist with you. And for some people, that quiet companionship is exactly what allows them to feel human again. So if any part of this video made you feel seen, if it put words to something you've always sensed but never fully understood, you're not alone. This channel is a space for people who experience the world deeply and quietly. If you'd like to explore more of these psychological patterns, consider subscribing. And if this resonated with you, leave a comment. What do cats give you that the world often doesn't? Thank you for watching.